Max TV, sports, entertainment, and
Always a pleasure to pop up on your screens like this. And I've told you time without number that whenever you see us like this, we are here for very important business. Today, we are here for the quarterfinal draw of the Women's FA Cup. It is very, very important that we do this because it is one competition that is very keenly contested. The last time I had the opportunity of watching the game at the Alajo AstroTurf. And boy, oh boy, I can tell you the Women's FA Cup will go places. My name is Mutala Yakubu, and this is Max TV. We are also live on Star Times at the Part Channel 247. I am not in the studio alone. I have company, and this time I have a very experienced figure, one who knows all about the journalism industry, especially the sports domain, and also currently working as the chairperson of the Women's FA Cup Committee, a senior figure when it comes to broadcasting and media, Madam Rosalind Amo. You can't say crowd trimo. So I be studio. Yeah, that's it. Afin come to you share yachi.
Afi we am say when need kan ya share wa afi mu. Ache nyina afi shapa mema wahwefo nyina nso aha.
Yeah, that's it.
Happy Friday.
Yeah, that's it. So I'll be PM and also my colleague from the Ghana Football Association. I mean, the communications department. He is responsible for all the statistics that is shown out from the GFA and the various leagues that we play. That is Mohammed Shaban. The man is here and he will be walking us through some of the stats that have come so far from the Women's FA Cup. Shaban! Baba, yes, yeah, with you. But this time we are here for very important business. I remember the first time I met Madam Amo. That was somewhere around 2015. I'm a GIG for and Kwame Jumo. I was at Class FM. Then he sent me to go and do an interview at the FA because not Madam Amo. 2 hours interview. We were some record and man so. Middle office, I was excited, knowing, forgetting that I didn't even record a single thing. But I remember some of the things she said, so I used that for the story. But that's it. The Women's FA Cup is getting interesting. But first off, let's talk about women's football in general. From when you started following women's football, you started pushing women's football. From that time where we saw women's football as a taboo, up till now, what has been the progress?
Oh, we've come a long way. I mean, even though there are still streaks ahead of us, I think that we are halfway through the journey. And I always say, anytime I get the opportunity, I always say that we have come from the point of, I don't want my daughter to play football. Make sure you do not send my daughter to any football pitch. So please, can you come for my daughter? I have a girl who wants to play football. Can you come for her to go, and can you introduce her to a football team? That is how far we have come. And so you've moved from A to B, but the gap between A and B is so long and so wide that we have covered it. And now we have, if I'm not wrong, we have over 6,000 female footballers in Ghana. 6,000 female footballers, both registered and unregistered. And you can see for yourself the streaks and progress that we are making, even in the Women's FA Cup. Look at how people are participating, people are watching. I think what now we need to translate into is the huge attendance. We are waiting for the day that we will say that, look, we have broken the record attendance at the various stadia. But for me, if you want to talk about the foundation and development, we've made very much.
I know the journey has not been without challenges. I mean, for people like you have championed the cause of women's football, even when technology was not that big. I mean, today we have the internet, we can see the Black Coins, the arrival, anything that they do in camp. What are the challenges that we still need to overcome before we can get to our final destination?
There are two main challenges. Finance, playing pitches. Because, truthfully, the clubs cannot sell players. It is only in recent times that a club could be able to transfer a player for maybe a quarter of some dollars or something. Most of the time, until the arrival of the CAF Champions League, a little bit of money. So that is number one, because running around, and it is the reason why we don't play the National League and we play the zonal championships. Because if you travel, a team travel from Accra to Tamale and comes back. The whole...
So proximity is key in this area.
It is. And you realize that when we started, people were criticizing it. But even in Brazil, they've adopted the Ghana style. South Africa is adopting the Ghana style. Nigeria, of all places, they are playing their zonal championships. They play the interstates before they come and play the National League. And that is the way to go, because if you don't have sponsorship, that will take up almost a chunk, the 90% chunk of the bill of women's football. Everybody will run at a loss, because by the time you do 2 away trips, your coffers are dry. So that is it. The other thing is the pitches. That's government as partners of women's football development allow the National Sports Authority to charge women's clubs when they are using the pitches. We still pay pitch fee.
How much do these clubs make that?
They don't make anything. We don't even charge gate fees. So where are we going? So it is coming from, thankfully, now that the FA has been able to secure some sponsorship. It is those sponsorship monies, those ones that you would have used to pay your bonuses for the players, give them winning bonuses to let them also feel that, oh, okay, they are also earning something. You use portions of those money to pay for playing pitches. And we ask, and it's something that I have fought and pushed for. Why would a women's football club pay for the use of, say, the Accra Sports Stadium?
When do they even charge gate fees?
For Jedu, for any of the other pitches. And now we are using the AstroTurfs. When you go and use Achimota School pitch, you pay for it. When you go to Madina,
you pay. Alaju, you pay.
You pay. Because the pitches have to be maintained. And unfortunately for these pitches, it is no longer within the domain of the National Sports Authority. But the truth of the matter is that the National Sports Authority pitches are not available. And even in this 21st century, you go and you have some male clubs who will tell you that we will not allow you to play before us because...
Ways and means. What's about? I mean, thanks for always being here. The women's football, it is like the shining light in a gloomy nature of Ghana football. We feel encouraged. On the screens now is Ampem Dako's participation in the CAF Champions League. In time past, even to get a league was difficult. Now we have all these players getting huge exposure against some of the best players on the African continent. Women's football seem to have come far.
Yes, it is progressing.
Especially under this FA.
Yes, it is progressing positively. Now, if you check, the records are clearly shown since 2020 when the FA took over. You've seen a positive impact on women's football. And look at how it has affected all the national teams. We'll come to that. Now, this is 2021 CAF Champions League. This is 2023 where Ampem Dakwa represented. But 2021, we saw Hazakis making it to the final of the CAF Women's Champions League maiden edition. And against an opponent that have invested so much, that is Mamelodi Sundowns. Then in 2022, we didn't see our women progressing, but we saw Ampem Dakwa making it to the Zone B by failing to qualify. Then 2023, they managed to make it to the CAF Champions League. We saw their impact. Now, aside the progress in the CAF Champions League in women's football, look at another angle of our national teams. The U20 is currently doing very well under Yusuf Baziki, and we all know what they are doing in the African Games. You talk about the Black Queens.
And Nora Hoptel. They've been fantastic.
13 matches, 11 wins, 2 losses. And of course, you can see the progress. Even at a point where this Black Queens squad were able to meet Zambians boot for boot at their home. And clearly, it is not even possible for teams like Morocco, teams like Nigeria to even go there and score about 3 goals. But this current Black Queens team are making a very big priority. And that is what is also affecting it positively outside. And so a lot of agents, a lot of clubs, I remember when Ampem Dakwa participated in the CAF Champions League, at a point in time, the opponents were asking them how they get the energy to play, because they were so exceptional. A team that is participating in the CAF Champions League for the first time, playing with a lot of energy, creativity, a lot of impact, making, even if they lose a game, you can see that Ampem Dakwa ladies are proving some. So for me, I think one of the key things that is making progress in Ghana currently is the women's football, and I'm very happy about that.
And I can tell you for a fact that when Ghana defeated, Ghana actually played Zambia and even lost in that one. It ended 3-3. I mean, even the Zambians were surprised or shocked as to how good the Ghanaian team was. And most of them are saying they should try and snap up Nora Hoptel.
They wanted our players, including our coach. At a point, they thought that because they had Rahel Kundananji and then Barbara Banda, they were going to humiliate the Ghanaian squad. But when they played Ghana in Zambia, I remember after 70 minutes, they thought they've lost and then started leaving the stadium.
It was just lack of concentration. And I know the Black Queens will get better and better. And also the Black Princesses who are being coached by Yusuf Bazigi will also reach the level that we all want to see. Women's football in all,
Bazigi, you know, he has also played 13 games unbeaten.
With the Black Princess, Black Satellites.
With
Princesses, sorry.
Yes. 13 games unbeaten. If he wins again today, it's 14 games unbeaten. Only one draw, 13 wins, one draw, and the draw was against the PSG under 19 side when they went to France on the training tour.
Bazigi's longevity and success with women's football is something that we need to study, and we will study that. But let's come back to the main agenda. That is the draw for the Women's FA Cup quarter-final. These are the teams that have made it up to this stage. Ampem Darko are the current champions of the Women's FA Cup, but Epiphany Warriors, a lower tier side, have qualified and will be participating in today's draw. Jonina as well, my good friend Green Street, works with them, and they are doing something good. They are just here at Antioku. They are playing good for Army Ladies this season. I don't know what is happening to them. They are one of the best teams in the local scene. Police Ladies have also qualified. They were the first winners of the Women's FA Cup. They are in there. Supreme Ladies are in there. Nasara Ladies have also qualified. Now, I told you about Ampem Darko, who are the current champions. Prisons Ladies are also in there. These are very, very top opponents. These are some of the results from the round of 16 there. So Ampem Darko had the 5-1 victory over Tamale Super Ladies. Supreme Ladies also beat Baga Baga Ladies by 3-1. Then Sunshining Ladies lost at home to Nasara Ladies. Prisons Ladies got a 4-1 victory over Kumasi Sports Academy. That is, those are some of the results that came through for the round of 16. The interesting one. Army Ladies also drew goalless with Valued Girls, but won 7-6 on penalties. Jodina pipped Lady Strikers by a goal to no. Police got a 2-0 victory over Azakis Ladies. That is very surprising. NC Lions also lost 2-1 to Epiphany Warriors. Daniel Nieji.
A replay of the competitional championships, the qualifying series.
Okay.
It was anyway, it was an interesting game, and I'm sure Epiphany will be laughing that they were able to beat Sea Lions in that game.
But that game between Police and Azakis, to me, over scoreline because Azakis are one of the strong forces we have in the women's football.
They've lost a number of players.
Yeah.
And so they are still rebuilding their team. They've lost some to injury, others to the transfer market. And so they are rebuilding their team. And I think at the time they played, they also played without Basigi because Basigi was focusing.
Okay, she was preparing the girls for the All-African Games.
I mean, but don't forget that Police Ladies were the first champions.
Yeah.
I mean, they were the first champions of the FA Cup. So maybe they are doing something right to go back and reclaim their former glory. So
Let's see
surprising, but I think that it happens.
I'm sure the entire management of Police Ladies are sitting behind their TV set, eagerly awaiting the opponent that they will come up against. But let's go through the stats and see what happened so far, what has happened in the Women's FA Cup. I know a lot of goals have been scored.
Yes. But Mutala, before we look at the statistics, you were talking about Police Ladies. Let's not forget that last year they were in the final against Ampem Darko. So clearly, even at a point, they were almost getting closer to the trophy. They played very well. They gave us a very good competition in the final. I was happy at the Dr. Kwame Chase Sports Complex.
And I watched them last 2 weeks at the Alaju Park. They played soccer intellectuals, and I saw some good players in there. The likes of Free, brilliant players.
Deborah Efri, she's their best player currently. I'm not surprised because a team that have made progress last year will still want to make it to the final this year, so that is normal. But if you look at the qualified teams, of course, Ampem Darko Ladies, we are expecting them in there because last year they were in the final. But the positives about the FA Cup is that there's a bit of changes where usually you see Azakes, you see Ampem Darko. Now it is changing. Police Ladies making progress. We are seeing Ampem Dakwa still being consistent in there. But Epiphany Warriors, yes, we never expected
they
them
look
to
like
get...
the dark horses in this year's Women's FA Cup. Because I say slow by sure.
Yeah, slow by sure. And then Jonina, they are not doing well in the Malta Guinness Women's Premier League, but they are performing here. That tells you that it is a different competition altogether. Army Ladies, of course, if you spoke about them, they are not consistent in the Malta Guinness Women's Premier League, but in terms of quality, they have, and so you can't underrate them.
And don't forget that they were also losing semi-finalists in the 2022 FA Cup. They lost to Ampem Dakwa.
Yeah. So they would want to go back and win it
for
again.
your lineup, you have three former champions and 5 sides that are trying to win.
But you know the teams that I usually fear when it comes to competitions like this, the lower tier sides, like Nasara Ladies. You usually have little data about them. You're going to face them. You can't pinpoint one player and say, okay, these are their best players and all that. It becomes very difficult.
And usually what coaches do is that when a Premier League team, Malta Guinness Women Premier League side, is facing a Division 1 side, look, let me then parade my reserve players to face this side, because I feel maybe I have another game next week. I need to prepare and get the players fit. Then they go into the game, it becomes difficult. They concede first goal, 80 minutes, they bring all the top stars. they still fail to make progress, and that is why we see this lower tier side making impact. But for me, I'm not surprised, because if you pick the last 2 years, teams that have managed to gain promotion to this in the Women's Premier League have shown that, yes, they are a good side. So if you have them participating, playing against the Premier League side, matching them boot for boot, that is not a surprise. But in terms of the data...
Yeah, let's go through the stats.
Yes,
walk us through.
Yes, so the stats currently favors the home side. If you look at what happened in the last round of 16 games, you can see that the home side had dominance over the away side in terms of performance. And I am not surprised about that, because usually in Ghana, there is a bit of home advantage. You need to go all out playing at home. And that is why out of the 8 games we played, we had 7 teams winning at home.
7 teams won at home?
Yes, and then we had 1. And then 6 teams winning at home, 2 away. Then we had a total of 26 goals scored in there, 18 goals for the home side, and we have 8 for the away side. So clearly, there's another home dominance in terms of goal scoring. A total of red cards, 5 out of a total of 8 matches played in the quarterfinal. That also signifies that teams go into the quarterfinal stage or all the rounds with aggressiveness, knowing that it is a knockout phase. You need to go all out. Do or die, of course. And that is why sometimes we get these cautions a lot of, but it doesn't usually happen in the Malta Guinness Women's Premier League. A total of 27 yellow cards in there, probably approximately 4 per game. That is also a normal. But there's no penalty recorded in the
And I'm surprised. It means that there was some level of discipline in almost all the defenses of these teams. So not to concede the penalty in the whole round of 16, and that is good.
Yes, we can also look at it in another perspective where we can see the strikers actually decides to shoot outside the 18-yard box. They want to attack. Some of them are very clinical, and so they don't
I would take it as the defenders were that good. They were that decent not to commit errors.
Yes, and so these are some of the facts. Then you look at the matches decided in 90 minutes and the matches decided on penalty. We have 1 game deciding in penalty shootout, and there's 7 of the games deciding in 90 minutes. It should tell you that the teams also go into the game with a perception that we don't have to go to the penalty shootout where it is 50-50. If I don't go, if I prepare my players well, if I have the best players, but the game travels to penalty, you can see that it can go for your opponent. So let's go all out, get the wins in 90 minutes. And that is why we have 7 wins in 90 minutes, 1 from the sports game.
Well, that is Shaban Mohammed with the Stars there. Interesting one. So no penalties were conceded in all the round of 16 games. That is good. It means that the defenses of all these teams were very, very disciplined. So we are here to do the live draw, the live quarter-final draw of the Women's FA Cup. Ampem Dakwa are champions. Who would usurp them? We don't know. The teams are still in there. Hazakes have been booted out, and so the likes of Police Ladies would be eyeing the trophy. We take a quick break here on Max TV. We return with the draw proper. The live draw of the Women's FA Cup, and we are the quarter-final stage. That is why we are in the studios to ensure that all the teams will get to know their opponents. I'm sure they are all eagerly awaiting what would happen. But let's run you through the teams that have qualified so far. 8 teams in the quarter-final. Epiphany Warriors in there. Jonina Ladies have also made it. Army Ladies have qualified. Police Ladies, who were the premier winners of the Women's FA Cup, are in the Supreme Ladies, Nasara Ladies, and the current champions of the Women's FA Cup, and Pep Dakwa Ladies, are also in there together with Prisons Ladies there. So, Madam Rosalind Amo, at this stage, what are the modalities? Are we going to do it on regional basis, or this is the stage where any team can face any team, regardless of the distance?
This is the stage where we mix and match.
Okay.
So, you can be in the northern zone and you go and play somebody in the southern zone. From now till the to the semi-finals, we'll mix them. So it doesn't stand to reason that you qualify from your region, and that is it. You have to probably play somebody from a northern zone versus somebody from the south.
So a team from Tamale can travel down to Accra, depending on the opponent. Okay. So this is the time where we do the draw proper, and Madam Roslyn Amo, no better person to do this than her. So your destinies are not in my hands; it is in the hands of Madam Roslyn Amo.
It's in the hands of the bull.
And she will be doing it. So can you kindly pick up the envelope for me? I want you to show it to the camera. If it is sealed, because so it is very sealed, tight. So can you just open it up and pour the teams? It is expected that 8 teams are in the envelope. So let's see the envelope. Just pour them in for me. Okay. So pour them in for me. Okay. So that is the first stage. You can drop the envelope now. You can drop the envelope. So there be no more found some mommy. Okay, so let's see our first pick, and the team that will be picked first will be the home team, right? Okay, so that is what will happen. So let's see the first pick for the quarter-final of the Women's FA Cup. First team, Ayebepeke. Apem Dakwa are the current champions. Let's see. Police Ladies. So Police Ladies are the maiden winners of the Women's FA Cup. Shaban, the first FA Cup. So Police Ladies will be at home. I don't know whether they will play it at the Teshimax Park, the Alajo AstroTurf, or even Achibota. So let's find out the opponent that Police Ladies will come up against. Me sure say Asamani Yakubu and all those big men who work with Police Ladies are eagerly awaiting their opponents. Hey, it is a big one. Police Ladies will be coming up against the current champions of the Women's FA Cup, Ampem Dakwa Ladies.
Before the final.
I need to breathe.
Replay of last year's final.
A replay of last year's final, where Ampem Dakwa beat them.
Yes.
So revenge will be on their minds. That is a big one. Police Ladies against Ampem Dakwa Ladies. That is a huge game. A final before a final. Nasara Ladies are second pick, so they would be at home in the northern region. Nasara Ladies. So there you have Nasara Ladies. Let's find out their opponents as well. Nasara Ladies. They are also a lower tier side. Division 1 side. Yes. Yeah, in the northern region. I love it when the Division 1 sides are rubbing shoulders with the big women. Okay, so Nasara Ladies will be taking on Supreme Ladies. Nasara Ladies will be taking on Supreme Ladies. Supreme Ladies are in the Ashanti region. Yes. So Nasara Ladies will be coming up against the Supreme Ladies. So we have 2 fixtures already done. Police Ladies against Ampem Dakwa.
So 1 Premier, 1 Division 1.
The first one we had an all Premier affair, and this time one Premier League team, one Division 1 side. So let's find out the third pick. We have 2 fixtures down. So Prisons Ladies, they used to be a force back then when the Women's Premier League started. Prisons Ladies, they are in the Brunhafo region. That is Prisons Ladies. They will also be at home. Let's find out which team that Prisons Ladies would also be coming up against.
League side.
Yeah, they are also a Premier League side. So I'm sure we are going to have a very nice fixture. Prisons Ladies. This one is a void. Okay, so just drop that one. We'll rectify that. So that one is void. So let's see which team that Prisons Ladies will come up against. So Prisons Ladies will take on Army Ladies. Prisons Ladies will be playing Army Ladies. Wow, that well, it's also a huge game. So let's find out the other pairing. So we'll rectify that later. The one that had an issue, we'll rectify that later. So this one also, okay. So we'll rectify the two. So let's see. Let's see these ones. Interesting one. Jonina ladies. Okay, so Jonina ladies would also be at home. Their home venue is Antieku, just here in Accra. They play at Antieku. Jonina ladies. I want to Green Street one. He's a PR for Jonina ladies, and I'm sure they will also be looking at which team. So Jonina ladies against Epiphany Warriors. So we are left with the last two, and we'll rectify that. But we would have to take a break here. I mean, I need to breathe. And Tieko break here. But
this one is a replay of the final of the Greater Accra Women's Regional League final last season, and Epiphany won. But it brought so much tension between them that when they went to the zonal championships, it was like a final before the final. So this is also going to be another final before the final, if you ask me.
Police Ampem Dakwa, I don't know. I just don't know. How did you, Madam Rosela, I'm on the draw now. How did you come about this fixture? Because I mean, I watched the final last year.
Yeah, I didn't do anything.
So who would be happy and who would be sad? Is it police or Ampem Dakwa? Because police will have revenge on their minds. Shaban, you watched that game?
Yes,
last
I was there at Dr. Kwame Che, and at a point, police dominated. And that is why Madam Roseland, I agree with her. It's either you go for revenge or Ampem Dakwa shows that they have the strength to beat them at all time. But look, this is the time for police to show, because it is a final before the final. If they're able to win this game, it also signifies that in the absence of Azakes ladies, they also have a chance of winning the trophy.
Yeah, Madam Amo, that is how I'm looking at this fixture. That it looks like they are two of the strongest teams left in the competition. And as a Oshe Onyonkwa, you know, there's a huge opportunity for you.
Unfortunately, that is the cross of the FA Cup. The FA Cup has never been a very nice one, because every time it throws some of the big guns against each other. And this is clearly a final before the final. How the two of them strategize will be entirely up to the coaches and the handlers. For me, I know is that this year the security agencies have said that they need to win a trophy to show for the efforts. And there is a revamp of the police team management. I know Madam Lydia Donko is probably watching and say that, look, we need to find a way, strategize and make sure that we win. And so we would wait to see, but definitely it is a final before the final. And wherever police chooses to play, at this point, it is no longer the home team that determines it. It is the FA that will determine the venue. And so much as they may have an option, the FA will also look at the most convenient place and ensure that, because at this moment it's no longer the regional or the zonal league, it's moved on, and so the FA will determine where they will play, and in due course that will be communicated.
Now you talked about the security services wanting to win a trophy, to stake a claim. There's prisons ladies against army ladies. Big one.
They've never played before. Interestingly, they haven't met, so this will be the first time the two sides are clashing. And like we always say, you know the history of army ladies, you know the history of prisons ladies. Prisons were the winners in the second edition of the FA Cup. They beat police ladies to win. And I remember the joke around was that when the police people make the arrest, they bring the prisons ladies. They bring it to prisons.
The prisons, I understand.
So this time around, you don't know. But I know that the talk among the security services is that, look, we are doing so much for women's football. We are investing. We need to encourage our players to understand and enjoy what they are doing. And so it's become a competition. It's become a competition amongst them, because police have won something, prisons have won something. Army came so close to winning, but they couldn't. They couldn't beat Ampem Dakwa. So this time, I know they have plans to make sure that
former winners and former finalists in there, so it becomes very difficult.
It becomes very, very challenging, and that is why I said that it's all about strategizing and planning. Because you know that with the FA Cup, there is no second chance.
Yeah.
We don't even do home and away. It is knockout. So once you are out, you are out. And if you are, like Shaban said, you don't want to push it to penalties, because when it goes to penalty, it becomes a 50-50 game. So we would wait to see how they turn out. But it's going to be an interesting round, very interesting round, which I would encourage everybody to find time, make time to watch, because if you miss those games, you would have missed an interesting round of competition.
Of course, and I'm not sure anyone will want to miss that big clash. Police ladies against Azakes ladies, against Ampem Darkwa, who are the current champions of the Women's FA Cup. So, Shaban, these are the fixtures on your screens there. Big games. I love the fact that Nasara ladies are home to Supreme Ladies. Prisons will be taking on Army Ladies. Jonina, they play at Antieku. They will be taking on Epiphany Warriors. Police Ladies also coming up against Ampem Darkwa Ladies.
Yeah, so from 29th March to 1st April 2024, we are going to see an exciting
29th March to April
1st. Yes.
Those are the dates that the games could be played,
yes.
Okay?
Yes, we are going to witness an exciting fixture. Police playing against Ampem Darkwa, of course. The final before the final. You need to watch this game, watch the semi-final, and watch the final. And then you can decide, you can confidently say that you are part of the FA Cup 2024. And so that is one of the big games we need to watch. Ampem Darkwa have a very good team. They would want to excel because Azakes ladies are currently not part. Ampem Darkwa would also want to win again because last year they were winners. Last 2 years they were winners. They want to go all out and win it for the third time. Then you look at another game, Nasara Supreme. Yes, Nasara is a Division 1 side. Supreme ladies are Premier League side. They've shown that in terms of performance, Nasara don't fear any other opponent, either a Premier side or Division 1 side. They would want to go all out to win. For Supreme ladies, of course, yes, they are Premier League side, but this game you can't tell whether Nasara or Supreme can win because both teams, in terms of performance, are exhibiting, showing very good performance in terms of whatever they are doing. Then the next fixture, these opponents are clearly a good side, of course. You would want to Prisons Army Ladies. These are service personnel of our country. I remember last year when I was watching the likes of police leaders, I saw a lot of the police people around. Yeah. I'm sure Prisons and Army ladies would be around to support their teams. And these are also one of the good games you have to watch. Prisons will want to win against Army. Army would also want to show dominance. You made the point that Army at a point were a very good side in terms of women football. Yes, they are still. Just that it is so competitive that you need to put in more energy to get to the top. What the standard that Azakes and Ampem Darkwa police are setting, you need to work extra hard. And I would urge them on this platform that if you want to get there, if you want to be named as one of the good side, if per what Azakes and what Ampem Darkwa have done in Africa, if you want to win the FA Cup or win the league, you need to put in a lot of energy.
Both Jonina and Epiphany were in the Division 1 not long ago, and they are clashing. Your prediction for that one?
Jonina are not doing extremely well in the Women's Premier League. So if you pick it from that angle, you would say that they might not progress. But if you pick the Epiphany's performance, clearly, if you pick their records, consistency in terms of win in the FA Cup, they have also shown that they are making progress. But look, sometimes it is tricky. You might not be doing well in the Women's League, but playing against your opponent, it becomes like a friendly game because you've known them in the Division 1 few months ago. And that is what also gives Jonina an advantage, a slight advantage because they have played the Premier League and they are playing and they have gained a little bit of experience ahead of Epiphany, but it's still a very cagey game.
Okay, Madam Ambo, before we go, quick one. I know the FA provides support for the clubs that usually travel. Is it still going to continue?
Yes, I mean, right from the start, each participating club is giving some amount of money to support their travels. That is going to continue. And as you progress, you earn more because of the traveling distance. So what is happening is that whatever support they get will also be dependent on the distance they have to cover, moving from one side to the other. And then as we have the draw now, it is going to continue like that into the semi-finals. So we have the lines already, so it will progress. Those on top whoever wins will be meeting that person next.
Okay.
And then it will be like that.
I'm sure in subsequent
Yes. But let me say that it's
the
significant to acknowledge that we have 2 teams from the regional leagues or Division 1 leagues joining in at the quarterfinals. If any of them win, it will be the first time they would have made history as the first Division 1 side to qualify for the semi-finals. And so it's going to be very exciting. They probably would want to be the first to make history, and it will be exciting. I just hope that people will actually find time and attend these matches to see for themselves. They don't need to be told about it.
Okay, so that is it from the chairperson of the Women's FA Cup Committee. Let's go through all the fixtures once again before we check out of the studios. Police ladies will be taking on Ampim Darkwan ladies, with Nasara ladies coming up against Supreme ladies. Prisons ladies would also be taking on Army ladies, and Jonina ladies would also be taking on Epiphany Warriors. And that brings us to the end of this exercise. But just this morning, we had a sad news from the Ghana Boxing Authority that J. Annan has passed on, and our thoughts and deepest condolences go to his family in this difficult time. So we say condolences to the entire Ghana Boxing Authority and what they do. So Mohamed Shaban, thanks you very much for always being here and bringing us the best when it comes to data and statistics. And Madam Rosalind Amo, she does it best. No one does it better than her. She also came to help with the draw. So, Tim no draw no. And Madam Amo and a draw.
Legendary Madam.
Legendary. I mean, she's a legend, a veteran in this field. GIG lectures Liberty catches. Go and read about Rosalind Amo's piece in the dailies. Now, exam there. My name is Mutale Akubu. This is Max TV. The next time you see some of the games on the road, because it's very important we all help to lift Ghana football. And then you may so the Black Satellites will be playing at 5 p.m. at the University of Ghana Stadium in Legon. Omone Benin. So go and support them. All African games. We need to win a lot of trophies.